Welcome to the Mommy Collective. I'm Paulina Rowe, radio host, TV contributor, writer, and mom of one. This is where ambitious moms come to keep their identity intact while navigating motherhood. Here we talk about the real stuff: career, money, relationships, identity, and everything that gets messy in between. You won't find sugarcoating or cliches. What you will find are unfiltered conversations, real resources, and proof that you don't have to lose yourself to be a good mom. The Mommy Collective is here to remind you can be ambitious, you can take up space, and you can thrive in motherhood and in everything else that makes you, you. Before we get into the episode, make sure you're following the Mommy Collective on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and share this podcast with a mommy in your life who needs a little inspiration, or just a reminder that she's killing it. Also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and leave us a review so we can keep showing up and reach every ambitious mom out there doing big things. Let's get into it. Mommy Collective, another episode, and I'm back, and I'm super excited for today. My guest she saw me get my ass kicked by time zones today, which is like so real. I'm like, we're trying to schedule and then I sent the wrong time. So I'm just so happy and grateful to be able to make this happen with me. So thank you. Dr. Esther Zeledon, how are you today?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to be here.
I'm so excited for you to be here. We're going to talk all things entrepreneurship. We're going to talk all things motherhood, obviously, my Mommy Collective, and then kind of just life. And I think you're such a great person to talk to in all three topics because, I was reading your bio and I was just super impressed. So just for those listening and tuning in, you have a trailblazing career as an international life coach, author, speaker, workshop facilitator, former diplomat, humanitarian, entrepreneur, and scientist, and you've transformed the lives and careers of thousands worldwide. So that is a mouthful, first and foremost. I love all the work that you're doing. If you don't mind giving us a little bit of a background kind of about yourself, and then of course yourself as a mom too, about your family, all that good stuff.
Yeah. So I think I like to introduce myself. It's like really that my superpower is helping people discover their purpose, like their mission, vision, and purpose. Like I call your MVP, right? And then make that vision into a reality, right? Because we all have these visions, these aspirations, but sometimes it gets so overwhelmed by it. We don't know, okay, but what's the how? What's the journey? And that journey is not just like the actions of metrics and things like that, but it's a lot of inner work as well, right? We have to release traumas. We have to do the work. We have to face things. And then, so they go parallel, hand in hand, right? And then keeping the resilience of keep going, right? Life kicks us in the butt all the time. And so instead of all these dips of waiting for crisis point, I help people integrate that into their day-to-day so that they don't hit rock bottom, right? So that we're living the legacy. And I think the biggest thing that I would say, and I've done my entire life, is really about shifting the mindset, decolonizing us, really being that we can do what we want to do, and that, we can stand for what we believe in, that we can break intergenerational things that have been passed down to us that we want to change, and we can release what's not ours. And so that's, and you're going to be like, but how'd you do as a scientist, as a diplomat? The thing is, those three things that I mentioned to you are the way I impact people. And I've been impacting people that way since I was 7. So I've been helping people think about, what do you want? What do you aspire for? How can I support you since I was a kid? And so whether I was in academia, whether I was in science, whether it was this, I was always trying to help people. Okay, where do we want to go as a group, as a collective, whether that's in science, whether it's in humanitarian aid, whether as a coach, and then how do we make that happen together? And then what are the things that we got to work on to get there? And then we get there, right? And then how do we celebrate that progress on the way? So that's me in a nutshell. And so I think as a mother, it's the same, right? Because it's even trickier because it's you want all these things for your kids, and I have to take a step back and be like, it's not what my vision is for them. It's how can I facilitate that they can make their visions and the things that they want become reality. And so my job is really facilitate. It's like a facilitator, and that's the thing that for me, that defines motherhood, right? It's not me trying to dictate to my kids on what they need to do. It's more facilitate the tools and the things that they can best, right? If I'm not around, that they can best survive. And that can be as small as when they're little, right? You're teaching them eating, right? All sorts of things, right? Crawling, things like that, swimming. But it's also like bigger things when they're older about like, what is when they talk about their childhood dream? Well, tell me those characteristics of that person. Like, tell me why you like that show, why you like that person. And they're like, oh, like this and this. I'm like, you know that you're that too, right? And giving them that confidence and self-esteem is something that I struggled with as a kid, right? That self-worth. And I see so many adults struggle with, right? Because we think we have to either do everything or know it all. And it's like, no, each of us brings something to the table. And even like with, my kids and family, we all bring something different to the table. It's all wonderful. It's all unique. And then when we bring that together as a collective, it's powerful. And there's abundance. It's not a zero-sum game that if you get or your sibling gets and, oh, but I don't get, no. And I'm always like, there's enough for both of us. There's enough for all of us. And so moving from that scarcity to growth mindset. So I do that with all like as a mother, as an entrepreneur, as throughout my career, it's always been like, no, there is no competition. We can uplift and support all of us. And that takes us believing it and then like staying away from those traps of like gossip and all the noise around us and like really being true to us and bring love and support to others,
100%. And what does your family dynamic look like? How many kids do you have?
So, my husband and I have two, but he has two older ones.
Okay, wow.
So they're like in their college and grown. And then we have a 9 and 11.
Wow. Okay. So this is probably a pivotal time as far as for your kids when it comes to like learning, like you said, like confidence or just learning, as far as like even who they are. I mean, I truly believe that like little kids have personalities and like you can kind of like sense, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like I have this exercise question that I give to everyone, how to unlock the superpowers. And actually first graders do it super easily. And they draw it and they know exactly what it is and when they like what they do and what they bring. But by the time they're in fourth grade though, they're already like, wait, but my mom would want me to say this, or my teacher would want me to say this. Actually by 7, you are who you are. And you already have that how-to, like how you solve problems since then. And you would see like these kids have drawn me sophisticated things, like how their brain process things. But by 9, it's already like society and parents and everyone being like, you need to be like this, or that's wrong to solve problems like this. And it's already, they're hearing the noise. But since they're little, they already got it. Yeah. So when you say their personalities, more than personalities, they already bring something to the table. And it's acknowledging that, like, it's like, you bring this is your power. And from first grade,
sure.
And just being like, I value it and I honor it. Right. Cause sometimes we're like, oh, you're just a kid. And actually I'm like, no, you know what? You have this. I always tell my son, because he's like really, he knows how to make people feel really comfortable, really easy. He can read emotions really well. And so I'm always like, and that's like his first step. It's like, he likes to see how everyone's feeling first and then goes from there and then figures out. And it's such a cool superpower. That's his first step in solving any problem. It's like, what are the emotions in the room? And I tell him, he's been doing that since he was little, right? And I tell him, that's so wonderful. I'm like, that you can do that and you already know. And then also telling him, I know that also means that you feel people's pain. And I recognize that. And I'm here if it's ever too much, right? And so when you know that about your kids too, it's like you can help support them.
100%. That's what I was going to ask. Like, as parents, how can we sort of lean into who our children are as opposed to trying to mold them to be like they right something they're not.
Exactly.
Or make them what we want to be. And I know culturally that's sort of been kind of the narrative and kind of like the pattern,
Yeah. And not only the pattern narrative, right? But it's like this expectation of obligation, right? Of like we were taught the obligation that we have to care, right? And that's why like our generation is this bridge, right? We're like, we're finding our path, but we still have to carry our parents, right? And so we're carrying our parents and at the same time being parents ourselves, right? And we're parenting double time. And because there's healing that our parents didn't do or have the opportunity to do, right?
Yeah.
But so we're in a unique position of actually helping both. I feel like sometimes I'm the bridge where I'm helping my parents even heal and even learn about them in a deeper way. And that helps them also be more conscious grandparents as well, right? And have more honest conversations together, because one thing is parents, but we're a tribe, right? We it's like our kids are grown up, whether it's tia, tío, grandma, whatever it is, or our chosen family, it's a tribe, and there's people around our children. And so I always the people who are of influence, I need them to be on the same page. So you asked me this question, what is it, right? So I would love to do it together. You want to do it together?
Yeah.
Do for you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
so
I'm nervous, but yeah.
So so this is the question that I ask, this is from first grade onwards, right?
Yeah.
It's so if you had $40 billion, and if it's too little, you could say 100. And the presidents of the world are going to give you this money to solve a global problem. What would you solve?
What would I solve?
Mm-hmm.
Probably I had to pick one, right?
You got to pick one.
One? Okay.
Just one. It's anything.
The first one that came to mind, and I think that would probably benefit the world. I'm not saying it would solve the issues of the world, but I think it'd be world hunger. I don't think anyone should be hungry, especially children. I would everybody's access to food.
Okay. And then, so now they're like, that's awesome. I'm going to give you the money, but you have to tell me in 3 to 5 simple steps how you would do it. How would you use the money to solve world hunger?
World hunger?
What would you do first?
It's a great question. I don't know. I guess pay for food everywhere, or not even food. It would be how food is made. So agriculture, invest in agriculture.
Okay.
I don't know what the proper terminology is, but basically making it sustainable, where it would be constant. There was no end in it, right? And so that would be a big part. Looking for alternatives, because I think that we only have so many livestock and stuff like that. So what can we eat that's just as nutritious or whatever, as far as I'm not a nutritionist by any means, but as far as protein intake, blah blah blah. So what can we eat that's not going to kill us but will give us those nutrients, because I feel like this has got to be a sustainability kind of thing for it to keep going forever, to feed everyone, because people are born every day. I guess it would have to be to invest in those, right, to kind of keep it going. I can buy McDonald's for everybody, but that's not going to solve it.
Right. Awesome. Okay, now let me ask you a separate question. Okay, let's say a 19-year-old comes up to you and is like, oh my God, I love your podcast, and I love everything you're doing, and what you represent. Can you give me some concrete advice? I don't want any inspiration. Don't say don't give up, none of that. I want actionable, could you give me 3 to 5 actionable steps on how I can get out of my neighborhood and do what you're doing?
For sure. I would say apply to a 19-year-old, right? So apply to a school that will take you away from your current environment. I'm big on that. And I'm not even saying you have to go out of state or whatever. You can literally stay in the same city, but leave, physically leave the neighborhood. And I think that opens up a horizon for a lot of people, a different world. I went to school at quite literally my city. I can drive to my university, but it was just so different still. Even being 20-30 minutes drive out was different. I would say that. I would say network your little ass off. I'm so big on that. Contact people. Be keep your foot on their necks. Don't be annoying, but I would say to make sure you are contacting people, meeting people. Actionable step. Depending if this 19-year-old wants to do what I do, let's just say, I would say, because I do radio, so I'd say get an internship at a radio station. Don't worry about the money, because the money will come. They're not going to pay you right now. I'm telling you right now. If they do, it'll be pennies. But I would say get your foot in the door. And then I would say start your own YouTube channel, your own TikTok, share your opinions, be a voice of your generation, right? So be a voice, start a podcast. I know people say it's oversaturated. Is it? I don't know. I'm not the saturated police, but I feel everybody has a lane. You know what I mean? Some people are killing it in their lane, and that's because they started. The whole point is they started something. The hardest part is literally starting. So I think those are my steps of if you want to do, let's just say what I do that.
Okay, that's amazing. So in both of your answers, you kind of have a similar how-to, right? So the first one, you were oh, I would you first told me you were oh, I will pay for, and you're no, wait. And you stopped and you're I'm going to invest in agriculture because I got to make this consistent and I got to invest first, right? If you
Yeah.
notice with the kid, you're like, you need to apply to schools. It's like investing in education,
Okay.
right? Like you need to invest in yourself, right? So those type two, the first thing is that like invest in whatever it is that's going to help grow. Okay.
Ooh.
Then the second step you do is the constant and the you said the sustainability and the constant thing. So you were like, oh well, there's not enough livestock, so we got to find alternatives, right? But you're looking at the web, and you told the kid you have to network, right? So your second step is looking at like the larger web, right? You got to either meet a lot of people or you're going to find a lot of alternatives, right? So that's your number two.
Okay.
And then your third one is about it's all circular for you. So your third one is like you told the kid, okay, you're gonna have to start and it's gonna build, but you told him his own, right? So it's almost like the sustainability, the ownership. So the same thing you said, like for the agriculture, right? Like, yeah, I could buy them all McDonald's, but it doesn't solve the problem. You gotta own it, and it's gotta continue.
Right.
So those are your three steps. So those are your how you solve every problem. So let's say like I could give you like 5 more. And let's say if it was someone like, I don't know, like, would this be true? Like if someone told you, oh man, I want to divorce my husband, right? Like, I think your first step would be something about either investing time or investing in therapy or like getting to know the issue. You'd be like, first, let's put some energy, like invest could be any word, right? But you use that word, but it would be like, first, let's see, right? And then your second one would be like, talk to a lot of people.
Okay.
You know,
that is something I would say. Yeah.
Yes. And I know somebody who went through something like you. I could connect you, blah, 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 right? And then your third one's going to be like the sustainability part is going to be like, I think for that is in this case, right? Think about the ownership sustainability. That could spin it in any way you want. Are you going to tell the person, did you have a role to play? If you take this decision, are you sure? Can you live with the consequences? All that, right? So that would be your methodology, right? If someone else, so that's your blueprint in life and how you solve problems. And so like for every kid, everybody has this and no one answers the question the same.
That is so interesting. So then how are you kind of able to like dissect, or not even dissect, but how are you able to kind of categorize like children or people?
Okay.
Right.
So yeah. So I always tell people, this is what you told me, but now ground truth it. So go text 5 people in your life that don't know each other and ask them, how have I impacted you, when and how?
Ooh. And
have them repeat so that you see that for yourself, how you've helped them. So I'm sure people are going to tell you, you helped me invest in whatever that is, like education, resources, whatever, right? You help them that, or you help them connect them to someone, or you help them start something and take ownership of something. So you're going to get a lot of testimonials, right? That people don't know each other, and you're going to be like, oh my God, that's me. Like in any situation. Right. And I think even like with the podcast, right, as we're thinking about it, right, that's you. You're talking to a lot of people. You're connecting. You're getting people the point of view. Right. And that's part of it. Right. And so that creates that allows people then to take this information and take ownership. Right. So even your podcast is you. Right. So for kids, it's the same. You ask them the same question. And they already pick a global problem, and you ask them to tell them simple, and they draw it. And so if they're little, you ask them to draw it, and you'll see they'll draw like peace building. They'll draw like making wells. Like my kid at 6-year-old was drawing like pollution and clean air and how he would do it. Yeah, they draw it really straight. And then you ask them again, like, but you give them like a little kid. You're like a 4-year-old came up to you and was like, I want to be strong like you. Same thing. And they'll tell you, and they've already thought of things, and they already have a way of solving the problem.
That is so, I love, that is so cool.
Yeah, it is super cool.
Yeah. And what about as far as, when we are able to kind of like, learn these parts of our children, right? And we
Yeah.
can see who they're becoming. Besides like being more supportive, because I think that's kind of the goal, right? As parents,
Yeah.
is sort of like leaning into that, it seems like, as opposed to like shutting it off or whatever, which
Yeah.
I hate. I know, like whatever, I sound terrible, but I can't stand when parents like, I don't know, like shun their kids from being who they are essentially, you know, and maybe
Yeah,
because like as a parent
exactly.
we don't understand. I don't really know. But like you said, the expectations, you know, whatever, it's
Yep.
cultural or just like who we are. But like you mentioned a village, right? And the people that are in the
Yeah.
child's life. How do you react when they don't want to sort of encourage your kid, right? Or children? How do
Yes.
you handle that when there's pushback?
No, and that's a lot. That happens all the time because,
Hmm.
I feel like culturally we don't it's like you're taught, I always hear all the time, oh, Latinos don't have boundaries. And
Mm,
so then we're supposed to like believe that. But that's not true. There
no.
are boundaries, but there's way to do it that is kind. Like we always think like, oh, we have to say yes, and if we say no, then it's unkind. And that means even to advice. But I
Yeah.
always say that by you not saying it, it's actually unkind because you're not really speaking from your heart, right? So there's ways of doing it before it even escalates, right? So it's creating the expectation, right? So it's kind of like this, like that's why it's like changing the conversations we have. Like, oh my God, you know what? Like I just discovered that, oh, my daughter can't, like, I'll give you a case. Like my daughter and my son are complete opposites, right? And my daughter
Oh,
has to go to bed at 8 p.m. She
okay.
has to. It's part of her thing. And but part of her how to is that she needs to sit on things for 24 hours before making decisions. My son
Okay.
makes quick decisions, but she needs her time.
Yeah.
So even like when you're like, oh, do you want to go to here, go to here? I have to tell people we need to present to her the options and now leave her to be. And I say that in advance. And I'm like, if she doesn't respond to you, it's because she needs 24 hours. It's not anything against you. It's just who she is. But before the situation even happens.
Okay.
Right. So that's when people receive it well, right? It's like anything. It's like changing even expectations with friends, right? Like I suffer from people pleasing, right? And so
Oh,
even
yeah.
like with friends and like parent, family and all that stuff, right? I have the conversation beforehand to be like, hey, look, um, next month I can no longer do X. I don't know whether it's like give money or I don't know, listen to events, something like that, but nicely, right? Like starting next month, things are changing for me. I can no longer support you in this. But I
Mm,
want you to know it's not because I don't care about you. I love you so much, but it's because things are happening in my life. But if you want me to help you find someone that could do that for you, or we can brainstorm, I'm here. But just to let you know, like starting next month, I can't, right? But that is so much more well received than if like they ask a month from you and you're
mhm.
overwhelmed and like 50 people have asked you and then you're like, I can't, Then it's
Totally.
like, then people are like, what happened? I thought you loved doing that. And that's when like all the friction and that's why we don't like to like, how do you say that, disturb our tribe, because we're used to that when we speak up it's constant clash and screaming, right? But if we like give it in advance and be like, look, this would really help her, she really shines when we give her space and her time, and she needs this and that, then people adjust, right? And it's like being like, but you know what else she does really good? Oh, she's really artistic and creative, and maybe you guys can do so. It's like about but it's always before the incident. And
Got it.
you have to repeat it a couple times. Like I always tell people, man, like even like in entrepreneurship, you learn that people have to hear things 7 times
Yeah,
before
I'm
they do
learning
anything.
this. I'm
Yeah,
learning this.
7 times. It's the same with boundaries and
Mm.
expectations.
Oh, that's good to know.
People need to hear it. You cannot expect that. Oh, I said it once, so that means they're disrespecting me. No, you gotta give the person empathy that is used to you being some person. You need to give them time to come to this new arrangement and learn this new practice. And so it takes a couple of times. I mean, I'll give you another example too. Is like I hate gossip. Okay. Like
Mm.
I just can't. It like lowers my frequency.
Yeah.
And then it makes me like I have a relationship with these people, and then I don't know. It like really, really, really like I can't. Um and I know it's personal to me. Like other people are totally fine with it, right? Like it depends on your superpower ability if you're able to like listen to it, but my emotions are really open. So I like ingest that. So I have to set the expectations at the beginning of like, look, like, I can't, like, gossip really hurts me. And so please only call me if you have ideas or if it's about planning. But if it's about gossip, I'm not your person. But, and maybe there's
Oh,
someone else that is. And actually, maybe I think, Funanita like loves listening and she finds connection through stories. But like with me, it messes me up for like 2 days. And it's like, but if
yeah.
you call me about ideas and things, it lights me up. And I have to say it a few times, but I changed that relationship and within my immediate family.
Oh,
And
wow.
and now it's only about ideas. And now I get positive memes. I mean, it took a year, but it's nice, right? It's
Yeah.
healthy. And so it takes time. But I tell people, don't give up. Like if you're having these dynamics, don't give up on it because our kids, I feel like we have to mirror behaviors. More important is what we're mirroring than what we're saying.
Yeah.
And they are watching us. And so by me being like, you know what, I don't engage in that. And then my daughter's learned that. And so she's actually got out of this group chat that was kind of gossiping. And she's like, Mom, they're gossiping, so I'm going to remove myself. And I'm like, that's great. Like you observed that. You observed that's not for you and you're removing yourself. I'm like, I told you want to address it or you want to remove it. Let her think about it. She's like, I'd rather just remove it because it's not like a family thing, right? It's a whole group of like friends.
Right.
And I'm like, she's like, I don't think I can have that control. Okay, let's talk about it. But it's a mirroring, right? She sees that I'm like, I don't engage in it. She's like, I don't want to engage in it. I don't feel good about it either. She's like, because I know them and it's mean. And I'm like, okay, well, that's your boundary. That's your thing. Great. But they mirror. And so the
Yeah.
more that we can create these healthy dynamics and practices with our family, the more that our kids can then do that, right? We're cycle breakers, right? We're breaking these cycles and keeping the things that we do love about it, right? Not everything's negative in our culture, but we get to choose what we want to carry and what's not ours to carry anymore and what we want to get rid of.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, 100%. I mean, there's so much to unpack with
I
just
know.
any of that, but I think it's so important. I think it's so good. And like, I've always said, and you can agree or disagree with me, and I would love that, but it's like, I felt like with motherhood, like even new boundaries came to be that I
Oh,
didn't even know
yes.
I needed, right? Because
Oh, yeah.
it's a whole different ballgame over here.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
You
Totally.
know?
Same. No, same with me. I didn't even realize, like, because one thing is yourself, and then when it starts going into that sphere, you're like,
Yeah.
wait. Like, I also there's something that how I want to be as a mother, and now it's like crossing a boundary that you exactly
Yeah.
that you didn't even know you had, or you didn't even realize these dynamics were going on until
Yeah.
you see it reflected again, right? Or reflected in your own kid,
That's so real.
or even like for me, like I was even reflecting behaviors that I didn't like as a child, right? And I
Yeah.
remember I had to go to therapy and coaching and be like, why am I doing this? I hated when this was done to me. I was like, okay, yeah, but the first step is awareness. Now you have to change it. And I
Of
was like,
course.
okay, I gotta do the work. I had to do the work of changing it as well, right? But yeah, I had to learn those new boundaries and also learn new inner healing that I didn't even know, right? Like I didn't even realize
Yeah.
that I was like anxious until I had kids. I was like,
That's
oh
so
my
real.
God, I'm so anxious. I am afraid of like all sorts of things I would have like never thought about. I was like, wow, okay. And I was
That's
like,
so real.
I don't have anxiety. And they're like,
No, but
girl,
you do.
you do. Okay, so let's manage it. I was like,
No,
oh.
that is so true. And no, that's 100% real. And I've owned it. I'm like, yeah, I have anxiety and this and that.
Oh,
And
yeah.
every
No.
thought in my mind is just insane. I'm doing better now. We're like a year into motherhood, but like, whew, it's
Yeah.
still there.
Yeah. I mean, I exactly. It's an ongoing journey, right? But I was like,
Whatever.
oh my God. I was like, I didn't even know. I was like, that's fit anxiety. I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah. I have anxiety now.
Oh yeah, that
Oh
is
God,
real.
yeah. No, the motherhood thing, and it brings out, but at the same time, it's good too. I think it
Yeah.
helps us heal so much of things
So
that we
much.
needed to heal and address that
I
we
agree.
had like tucked away
Yeah.
deep.
No, I 100% agree with that. I've always said that it's brought out like parts of me and just like different, I don't know, just a different
Hmm.
side, I guess. I don't even know how to
Yeah.
explain it. But I love it. It's been so great. I kind of want to dive really quick into sort of like your entrepreneurship journey and sort of like how you kind of got to where you are today. I feel like your path has been it's been just super to me from watching like from the outside, like it just seems like super what's the word I'm looking for, where it's kind of just like I wouldn't expect you to be doing what you're doing today, right, based on like kind of like your trajectory. I know you're an author. I love to talk about your book as well, which I need to put on my list. I have to read it. I'm back in my reading era, so I'm like it's on my list. I'm trying. It's hard like with a baby, but I'm trying at least at night.
Yeah, it's
But I
hard.
also kind of want to talk about like you being an entrepreneur, but like being an entrepreneur and a mother, because I feel like that is such a challenge, but it's just such a reward. I don't know. Like I think it's an
Yes.
exciting it's just so exciting to see. There's so many entrepreneurs who are moms or moms, who are becoming entrepreneurs. That's why I created the podcast too, because I was like, being a mom doesn't stop you from doing what you love and what you still want to do. If anything, I think it's probably, really motivated you and fulfilled you
Yeah.
even more. So I kind of want to talk about your trajectory, your path, and kind of like how we got here today.
Yeah, absolutely. So to give you context, right? So, um, my growing up, right, my dad had this purpose in life, and I felt like because of all the life's knocks and downs, he would always talk about it, and it was like this unfulfilled purpose that he couldn't do. And then I was
Oh,
able to help him once I was an adult
right.
close to help him do his what he felt was his legacy and start living his purpose, but much
Wow.
older, okay? Because I've always had that lens, right? And so I was like, well, I need to start with my dad.
Yeah.
And what for sure that lesson taught me is that if you don't fulfill your purpose and legacy, you pass it to your children.
Mm,
And so that was, and I learned that through myself, through him, right? And
yeah.
so when I had my kids, it's funny because I was like, oh, I always knew I wanted to start this like social movement. So like my business is a social enterprise. So like it makes money, but it has a lot of the proceeds go to help communities, right? And I have this pro
Wow.
bono and business side. And that's really important to me. Like that's part of who I am, right? And I remember I kept on delaying it because I was really comfortable in my job. And the thing is, like my job paid for it. I know so many of us can relate, health insurance. And
Mm.
then I started raising the ranks and I had the title. So that's why I have like in my book, Creating Your Limitless Life, but Chasing the American Dream crossed out because,
Mm.
I had grown up and bootstrapped. So when I had made the American Dream, the golden handcuffs, it was really hard to get out. Because I
Mm.
had the house, 6-bedroom house, I had the nannies, I had the teacher, I had everything set up for me and a job, prestigious job. I was making impact there. It was a great job, whole thing, right? But I had this voice inside me that was like, yes, this is great, but my dream really was to start like a movement of my own and
Yeah.
like really help all sorts of people figure out their mission, vision, purpose, not one org. Like I knew it inside. I'm not meant to be in one organization. Like I didn't go through everything I went through just to be in one place. But I kept delaying it. Fear, scarcity mindset, like, and also my kids were small and I was like, oh, but they need this and they need that. And I remember being like, when I retire, and you retire a little earlier, and like when you're in the diplomat service, right? But I was saying to my best friend, like, why are you waiting? And I was like, well, I'm waiting because it's safer if I wait till then. And plus, everyone, like to
Mm.
everyone else, I had everything. You know what I mean? Like everything you want, right? Why would I leave that? right?
Right.
But I had this voice. I was like, I need to leave. Well, anyways, one day, but I would only talk about it with my best friend, and she was the hairdresser. They were I only talk about it with her. And one day, it was like a Thursday, she was like, "Oh, I'm having these headaches and whatever." She went to the doctor. They were like, "Oh, you have this thing we need to remove," and she's like, they got to do it tomorrow. But she's like, "Can I leave my daughter here with you? I'll be back Tuesday." And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I helped her fundraise for her thing, and we did it all. Well, on Saturday, her daughter's with me, and her daughter's like, "I have to go." And I'm like, "Where are you going?" Right? Because I'm like responsible for her, right? And at first I'm like, "You can't go anywhere." And she's like, No, I got to go to where my mom is." And I'm like, "Why? What happened?" She's like, "Well, she's in coma." And then 2 days later, she passes away. And she was close to my age. And she was just starting to live her best life, right? And that was, for me, the wake-up call of, what am I doing? Like, why am I waiting? Like, and when I went to her funeral, no one really knew about the things that she was building and doing, right? And I was like, oh my God, we don't talk about our aspirations with each other. We don't support each other in our real dreams, and I realized that no one knew them but me there. And like, oh, listen, I was like, I got to do something about this. I can't. And so I gave, like, because I told you I'm a people pleaser. I was like, I gave everyone like a 3-month transition. I'm like, I'm leaving. So I had a whole full staff. I'm like, look, you're going to have 6 months. I'll pay you for 6 months, but I'm leaving this. And I left it, and I had no plan B. I left it. We downsized to a tiny apartment, and I told my husband, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "I believe you need to do this for you. I believe in you, right?" And I remember going home, and my dad was like, "What are you doing? Like, that's crazy. You've already impacted thousands of people. Like, why do you just want more? And you're never going to be satisfied?" And I was like, I remember it's the first time like I ever screamed really loud and everyone yelled at me. I was like, this is not my legacy. And the thing is, we all have like this legacy, like this thing we want to do. And I was like, this is not it. And I'm going to build it now. And so my immediate family didn't understand at first. And that's the thing. Not everyone's going to understand that first. So a lot of people thought it was super irresponsible. People would tell me I'm hurting the children because now I moved them to a small place. They stay in their school. And I'm like, they got to see me build. And so what's been beautiful is that my journey is they saw me build from bottom up. And at first I started with what I could, right? So at first I was like, well, I know I can, I'm going to make a business based on my superpower, what I could do right now, which is, I know, cause I was like already coaching people before in the organization doing stuff. I'm like, I know how to do that. So I started like that, one person at a time within my own network. And then I was like, ooh, what can I do next? Right. And then I just added on, right. And added on and added on. And then I started testing it, the approach, like I had always been using it. I'm like, but let's make this to a model. Right. And so little by little, and I took and I always tell people, you got to make it work as it works for you. So for me, I did consulting on the side and I did some coaching. And so it was more heavy on the consulting coaching side my first year. And then once I got like the confidence, right, little by little, right, then it moved to the speaking and writing, right? And then once I got the speaking and writing, right, then I moved to more workshops and community stuff and like then into the healing work, right? And so it's like it builds on it, right? And so it's like, right? And I start to do work on like tapping into my intuition because there's no roadmap in entrepreneurship. No. And I had to be like, how do I trust my intuition? I don't even know how to listen to my intuition because I was always just told to follow check marks. Right. And I was like, I don't even know how to do that. I was one of those people that was like, I can't silence my brain. And I was like, I need to learn how to. And I had to like learn. Like I remember I did 10 breathwork sessions, and the first 10 I couldn't tap, but the 11th I did.
Oh my gosh.
And then the 11th one on, now I go straight to my vision, straight to my intuition. But that's how long it took me to release all of that stuff, right? Like to be able to trust where I needed to go and trust the legacy I was building. And so that's how the trajectory went. And every time that's what I do is like, I just listen to my intuition. I trust, my gut on what's the next step. And what I love about it is I take my kids on the journey, right? So they know like, look at what we're building. They come to some of the workshops I do. We show them the people we're helping and impacting. they saw the book, they went on tour, right? They hear the testimonials. And so like, it's great because my kids now, they see it within their possibility. Like the other day, my son's like, well, I'm going to also write a book. And I'm like, that's amazing, right?
I love it.
And then my daughter's like, I'm going to start my own business and she's already mapped it out. Like I want to own hotels and I want it to look like this. And even if they don't do those things, it's about that. Because, it's about their, whatever, I told them, wherever you want to take your how-to, take it there. You know what I mean? There's just different places you're going to take it. I don't ask them what you want to be when you grow up. I'm like, where do you want to bring your powers to that are going to be appreciated and valued, right? And they start coming up with ideas, but it's about the possibilities, right? I've shown them that you can build something, and sometimes you do hit, like in January with all the changes, right? I took a hit and I sat with them, hey, we took a hit, but that's okay. We're resilient. We planned. That's why we forward plan.
Yes.
And I sit down with them and I'm like, look, we forward planned. We have a buffer and we're going to just shift and pivot. And this is how you do it. So it's like, I almost felt like this is how I wanted. This is what was missing. Like I wanted my kids to have these are life skills for life, and
yes.
And that's been my journey, is taking them with it. And that's why it was so important. I mean, it's awful. Like for me, the best friend dying was the catalyst.
Yeah.
But I thank the stars every day that I had the courage to take that leap of expansion then. Because also by taking that leap of expansion, I've been able to carry all these people that have been wanting to do that for themselves after. And even like this year that there's been so much transition, right? I did it years ago. I've been able to share my knowledge with people, right? And so it's been like a blessing, right? Because it's like now I can help people, in the chapters that want to go on this journey, help them get there too, right? And to create whatever it is that they want to create.
Yeah.
But by seeing that it's possible, right? That you anything that you can somebody needs your how-to at all times, your friends, your family, different jobs, you can transition to whatever you want. I mean, that's my book. It's limitless, but you have to believe it. And by showing my inner circle and my outer circle that it's possible, right?
Yes.
Just even that alone is powerful.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, just by like you said, like somebody who's done it, right? Somebody who's kind of led the way or like created a path or like you said, took that chance. Like you said, you've lived a very stable, comfortable life. You're like everything, like it was solid. It's not that it wasn't, because it was, but you literally told your dad, you said, this is not my legacy. And I think that's so hard to do, but such a proud thing to do, it's awesome. So I love that. And I love that your kids are witnessing all this and they already have their plan too. Oh my God. I love a business plan from an 11-year-old.
It's pretty cool.
No, that's actually pretty, I didn't know what the hell that was when I was 11. A business plan?
Me either.
No, you couldn't even pay me to make a business plan at 11.
No,
I'm
either.
like, the plan is business. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's
me
wild. Oh, I love that. Well,
yeah.
I really appreciate you coming on to tell your story and for inspiring other moms. You inspire the crap out of me today. And I know a lot of moms are going to feel the same. Where can we follow you on social? I don't know if people can work with you directly, but also I know your book is available on Amazon and I'm not sure where else, but we're going to figure all that out right now.
Yeah. So my book is Creating Your Limitless Life with Chasing the American Dream crossed out, but it also has a workbook. And so you don't need to read the book to do the workbook. And so like as moms, I encourage you to do the workbook. You can do it with your family, you can do it with your friends, you can do it with your kids, you can do it with your partner, or by yourself. What I love about the workbook is easy, like to follow, because it does that. Like, what's my legacy? Like it starts with writing your obituary. I know. But it helps you understand, like, yes, even though I'm a mom, what is that? What is that legacy I want to leave? What scale, right? And what's the gap that's missing? And then it helps you bring you back to your inner child, right? Like all these things, right? And so those exercises you can do 5 minutes a night. That's what I love about the workbook, because it's like it's really user friendly for people who are really busy and for moms and everyone. So there's the workbook. Highly encourage you to get the workbook. And then there's the book that's like part memoir and then part the how-to theory around everything that's in the workbook. So it shares my whole story, like all the ups and downs I went to get to the point of setting myself like free and right on this path. So if you like the story part, right, the book is great. And then, but if you want the practical exercises, like I put my full coaching program and that workbook. And people are always like, why did you do that? You should keep something to yourself. And I said, I don't believe in that, right? It's abundance. I believe that, you know, I want everybody to get the impact. And at the end of the day, that's not going to keep business for me because people are going to want to dig deeper or connect the dots. So I give everything's there. And we had to test it with a lot of people. So like, you know, like it's been tested now, thousands of people been through it. They've gone the transformation. So it's everywhere. So any bookstore you want, they sell it. Ooh. So it's on local bookstores, Barnes and Noble, you know, bookstore.org or Latino owned bookstores. Pen and Honey is a great one. It's Latino owned. There's some other ones that are awesome. And also Amazon, of course, has it too. And yeah. And then in terms of like, I'm on Instagram, so like, it's all about like being you, right? Act, taking aligned action, and then change the world. So it's be, act, change.
Oh,
yeah. So that's
I love that.
Yeah. So that's me on Instagram. And then I'm also on LinkedIn for people who like LinkedIn. Different posts, different things on Instagrams. I share my day to day and it's more fun, right? But the LinkedIn, I do share posts of like different workshops and things. So, but I personally manage my own DMs. So I do answer everyone. So if you love something about the book or you love something about the workbook, let me know. I love to hear from community. Like building collective power is why I do this. So 100%. Yeah, I would love to hear from the moms and everyone. So, and I want to thank you for having me on the show. I feel really inspired and this was awesome. And your how-to is amazing too. So like you got a good superpower. So
I didn't expect a pop quiz today, but I learned so much. I love this. This is so cool. I love this method. I'm going to try it on my kid when she's a little bit older, when she can talk actually.
Yeah.
I want to be like, listen, we're going to do a little quiz on you or just a couple questions.
But you know what? Do it with your tribe. Like whether you're talking to your friends, whatever, you're going to learn a lot from them. Or you can even ask them a simple one like, what's your childhood dream, or who do you like on TV, or who do you admire today? And the characteristics they tell you, it's their own characteristics.
So wild. I think that's so cool.
So even that, like once your kid starts, like even like at 3, like looking at things on TV, you're gonna be like, why do you like them? And you're gonna be like, oh, they're kind, they're brave. I'd be like, you are those things, right?
That is so freaking cool. I love it.
Well, so even little. Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love that. And I hope moms listening can also implement that and give it a try. I think that's so cool. And yes, we're definitely going to follow you. I have your Instagram. One more time, what is the handle?
be.act.change.
Perfect. I'm going to link it in the show notes too for everyone listening. So if you're like driving or something, don't worry.
Yeah, you can. It'll also come under my name, Esther Zeledon. So whatever you look up. Yeah.
Yes. Esther, thank you so much for being here with us today. Keep inspiring the moms and, keep, doing your thing. You are leaving a legacy behind. I think that you're just so amazing. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.